Welcome everybody to the second annual GametimeCT High School Sports Awards Show. I am Sean Patrick Bully and I'm joined by my cohort, Pete Paguaga.
This event is meant to honor the best and brightest athletes from across Connecticut, while also recognizing those who have gone above and beyond, who have inspired, who have left an everlasting mark on the sports community.
Now, this isn't your typical awards ceremony. We want you to have fun. Cheer loud when you hear your school or your teammates' names. Take photos and share them on social media. Grab food from the food trucks and your swag bags if you haven't already. This night is all about you.
We've got plenty of awards to give out. We got our keynote speaker, Anthony Latina. We'll be introducing the new GametimeCT Cup and much more. Now, please join me in welcoming our publisher, Mike DeLuca, to the stage.
Hey everybody, welcome. I have with me today, we have the lovely Matilda from Ridgefield, Connecticut, who's a two-sport athlete who just finished first place USA swimming in her most recent meet. She wanted to come up here today because she wanted to look out, and I said, look at the athletes out here today, and she aspires to be sitting in your chair in a few years waiting for her Athlete of the Year award. So if you don't mind, give me a warm round of applause for Matilda. Thank you. So good evening and welcome to the second annual GametimeCT Sports Awards. I hope you're enjoying yet another chilly summer night here in southwestern Connecticut. That was a joke. It's so awesome to see so many athletes, coaches, and families all together to celebrate yet another incredible year in Connecticut high school sports. Before we begin, I just want to do a quick shout out to our sponsors who made tonight possible. Newtown Smile Dentistry, ShopRite and the Singari Family Markets, and our title sponsor, Eversource, who will hopefully keep our air conditioners running very well over this weekend. Their support allows us to celebrate all of you amazing athletes in the way that you deserve. At CT Insider and GametimeCT, we have the privilege of covering literally thousands of games every year. Our journalists spend nights in packed gyms, freezing cold football stadiums, swimming pool decks, tennis courts, golf courses, you name it. They tell the stories behind the scores, and because every box score has a person and team behind it. And tonight, all of those stories come together in one place. I'd like to just do a quick shout out to the GametimeCT, the Hearst Connecticut Media Group, CT Insider, particularly the sports team. They are out there covering you guys in all of the elements. They love what they do. They love telling your stories, and they love Connecticut. So just, if you wouldn't mind, a round of applause for the CT team. Okay, tonight we'll recognize our first team All-State selections, state champions in 33 sports, our Athlete of the Week winners, and present awards in 16 different categories. That's hundreds of athletes from communities across Connecticut who have inspired teammates, schools, and fans through their performances and their character. One of the things I love most about GametimeCT Sports Awards is that excellence isn't confined to one sport. Tonight, a football player and a gymnast, a swimmer and a wrestler, a golfer and a basketball player all share the same stage equally, and that's something worth celebrating. And while tonight celebrates athletes, we know that nobody gets here alone. Behind every one of you is a coach who stayed late after practice, a parent who drove hundreds of miles, a teacher who encouraged you, teammates who pushed you, and communities that faithfully filled the stands. Thank them and love them, because this is their night as well. At GametimeCT, we often say we're in the storytelling business. Tonight, we're celebrating stories that deserve to be remembered, the stories of hard work, sacrifice, sportsmanship, and unforgettable moments that families will talk about for years to come. So to every nominee, honoree, coach, parent, and every supporter here tonight, thank you for making Connecticut high school sports something truly special. Congratulations to tonight's award winners, and let's enjoy an incredible evening celebrating the very best of Connecticut high school athletics. Okay. Our next speaker has spent decades, I should say, supporting Connecticut in our communities. First as our Attorney General, and then for the past 14, 15 years as our U.S. State Senator. We're incredibly grateful that he took the time out of his busy schedule in Washington to be here to recognize you. He was a swimmer growing up. He entered the school newspaper and spent a lot of time in news, and that's kind of what got him on the path to his political career. But is somebody who fights for the state, fights for you, fights for everybody, and we're incredibly honored to have him here tonight. So without further ado, Senator Richard Blumenthal.
Thank you, Michael, Mike DeLuca, and Matilda. Thank you for braving the stage, and to Connecticut Insider, Game Time Connecticut, thank you for bringing us together in this great second annual awards evening. I want to thank Anthony Latina, one of the great coaches, for being here. Sacred Heart is doing great, as always. And to all of the athletes, you are all winners. To all of the coaches who make such a difference in your lives. And yes, to all of the parents who are here tonight. Let's give those parents a great round of applause, because let me tell you, you didn't get here all by yourselves. It isn't all you're doing. Let me just say how important I think this evening is. You know, Mark Twain once said, there are two important days in your life, the most important days. The day you were born and the day you figure out why. Today, tonight, your athletic career is part of figuring out your personal why, not the end of that journey by any means. But I am so impressed that the awards tonight are not only for the skill and prowess on the field and the winning and performance there, but also awards like the Courage Award, the Community Award, the Inspiration Award, the Comeback Player of the Year. These are American values. And let me just say, on this 250th birthday, this is what America looks like. This is the best of America. Thank you for reminding us about those American values. And I'm going to take this picture back with me to Washington, D.C., and tell my colleagues, these are Connecticut values. This is what the best in America looks like. On this great birthday of our country, we should celebrate these values and take heart with all the division and the differences we see in the country today and dissension. We can come together. We can put aside our differences. And thank you for being here and showing us that lesson. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless our great state of Connecticut and our country. Thank you so much.
Well, that is hard to follow up, let me tell you. All right, now's the time we're really going to get the award show started, and it's time for the MC to come out. So let me welcome Bryant Carpenter to the stage. Bryant, has anyone seen Bryant? Bryant, where are you?
to go to the Game Time CT High School Sports Award Show.
Hello, Bridgeport. Hello, Connecticut. Hello, athletes, parents, coaches, athletic directors, and assembled guests. And welcome to the second annual Game Time CT High School Sports Awards Show. I am Game Time writer Brian Carpenter, your MC for the evening, and oh, but that was a lot of running. Sam Leone of East Lyme, your state cross-country championship is safe from me. Yours as well, Chase Gilbert of Old Lyme. Joey Montalvo of East Catholic, I will not be breaking your state receiving record anytime soon. Let's just say that pass I caught in the opening montage was not the first one thrown my way. Peter Lattis, if you are here, I thank you for your right arm and your patience. Now, Peter Lattis is a defensive coordinator of the Daniel Hand football team, but I don't know, Coach Eric Becker, you might want to have him working with your quarterbacks. He throws a pretty tight spiral. Now, Daniel Hand was one of 138 teams to win state championships during the 2025-26 school year. Each one of them has been invited to tonight's event. So too have the Game Time CT All-State First Team selections in 29 sports. So too have our Athlete of the Week winners over the course of 3 seasons and 41 weeks. On this, the last night of June, we cap a tremendous year with 16 awards and a new presentation, the Game Time CT Cup, which will go to the school deemed the most successful over the course of the year. Now, just how exactly that works, someone else will be up later on to explain, because it vexes my mathematically challenged mind. But I do know my manners. Senator Blumenthal, thank you very much for being here. And you know, really, I just want to thank all of you for being here tonight. We have more than doubled our attendance from last year. Thank you for being here. Okay, before we begin, we got ground rules. We got rules, mister. First, please, pretty please, put your cell phones on silent. Thank you. Winners, when you are called up, if you are an award winner, come up the stage on those stairs. We'll meet you for a photo op. You will receive an award, a citation from Senator Blumenthal's office, some gifts, and then you will exit on the ramp at the far end of the stage, where a little media session will probably be awaiting you there as well. Now, a couple more ground rules, and this is for everybody. As Sean Patrick Boley said, be loud. This is the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater with the emphasis on amp. Theirs go up to 11. Be seen. take pictures, post them on the social internet, on social media where all you young fellows go all the time. Tag us, though, at GametimeCT so I can see them too. The photos that we've taken on the red carpets, we will post on ctinsider.com/GametimeCT. Be watching. We are recording tonight's event. There's the camera. We are live blogging. Share the memories, share the link, ctinsider.com/GametimeCT. And lastly, be fashionable. We have a line of clothing and hats and souvenirs emblazoned with the GametimeCT logo, available to be ordered at a little shop right around the corner. All attendees tonight get a discount. So dress sharp and know what it's like to get barked at by somebody who got mad at something Peter Paguaga said on one of our podcasts. Hey, the Red Sox are here. The Red Sox are here. Nah, that's not them. The train stayed on the tracks. As a Red Sox fan of 61 years, I have leverage and license to tell that joke. Though over the past 5 days, it doesn't really work anymore, does it, Yankee fans? Don't you worry, I got one for you as well. All right, on these playful notes, let us get out of the gate. And at this year's Winter Olympics, few did it faster than our first presenter. This Connecticut native twice broke the start record in the skeleton, trucking 50 meters in less than 4.5 seconds. And if that didn't catch your attention, maybe his cool Venom helmet did. It went viral on the internet. And at last year's World Championships, he won a gold medal. And to think it all started on Dom's Way at Mount Southington. Game Time is proud to have this Connecticut Olympian here, not only in the house, but here to present our first award of the night, our Play of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, please, warm welcome, Olympian Austin Florian.
Hey everybody. As you know, my name is Austin Florian. I'm a 2026 Olympian from Cortina in the sport of skeleton, not a sport many of you probably have ever heard of before this winter. But I, just like you guys, came from Connecticut to high school sports. I wasn't as a high-performing athlete as you guys were in my high school sports, but nevertheless, I ended up at the Olympics, and here I am today and to present a great award to you guys. I'm glad I could be here. So, admit it, you find yourself lost in this little screen multiple times a day, scrolling through your feeds, looking for something that makes you forget about the hustle and bustle of life, even for a quick second. These were the moments from the Connecticut high school sports that caught your attention, gave your thumbs a rest, and at times simply made you say, wow. A buzzer beater from just beyond half court in a CIAC tournament game, an 80-yard kickoff return to win a championship, a tackle-breaking tutorial, an eventual game winner from 30 yards out, and a clutch block and rebound in the final seconds of the state championship victory. Here are the nominees for Plays of the Year. Zashim Dougie McCoy, East Hartford basketball. Eli Rice, Berlin football. Tyler Rice, Tyler Buttonfield, Brookfield football, sorry. Natalia Fabric, Mazik girls soccer. Missouri Faison, Greenwich basketball. And the winner is Eli Rice, Berlin football.
Wow, man. That was pretty smooth, Austin. Like, the dude just got here. He was stuck in traffic. Imagine he's Mr. Skeleton. He could have pushed his sled down I-95 faster than driving down here. Very, very good, Austin. Though I imagine it had to be cake compared to flying face first on an ice chute at 90 miles an hour. Take me for a ride sometime. Not. I now pass it at a much saner speed to our point guard, Connecticut Hearst Editor-in-Chief Wendy Metcalf will present the award for a championship moment in girls sports.
When their team needed them the most, when everything they had worked for all these years was on the line, they rose to the occasion, just as they envisaged they would so many times in their minds. It's what we love most about sports, the inspiring performances. From record-breaking moments in the pool and on the track, from point-blank saves in the closing minutes, the relentless rebounding and scoring and powerful spikes, these athletes didn't just win state championships, they created memories of a lifetime. These are the finalists of championship performance in a girls' sport. Meredith Ware, Ram Volleyball. Nicole Reamer, Bristol Central Basketball. Lily Panuccio, Brantford Field Hockey. Riley Anderson, Manchester Co-op Swimming. Lauren Kropo, Naugatuck Outdoor Track. And the winner is Nicole Reamer, Bristol Central Basketball. The 6-foot senior put forward a show at the Mohegan Sun Arena, scoring 25 points and pulling down an astonishing 22 rebounds. Nicole scored the final 9 points in overtime to lead the Rams to their first CIAC Division II state title with a 58-52 win over Rocky Hill.
Hey, Wendy, that was a nifty give and go. You might just be a pass-first point guard after all. Our next presenter is a bona fide finisher who's been knocking it back from downtown for 25 years. He is a cornerstone of CT Insider's peerless UConn basketball coverage. He is Mike Anthony, and he is here to present our boys' comeback Player of the Year.
Good evening. Most student athletes gathered here tonight have encountered and overcome some adversity throughout their high school careers. What you all do isn't easy. The experience of Matt Bonner of Hall High School in West Hartford underscores that reality as well as anyone's. Matt twice sustained hairline spinal fractures while playing lacrosse, once as a freshman, once as a sophomore. But he spent the summer and fall months of each offseason rehabilitating and preparing for the next hockey season. A 3-year starter as goalie, Matt finished as Hall's hockey program all-time leader in saves and victories and as a state champion. Matt was in goal for the Titans CIAC playoff run in March, including a 2-1 overtime victory over E.O. Smith-Tolland in the Division III championship game. For playing through the discomfort of 2 injuries and fear of the next, and the way he found unique ways to stay on the ice, Matt is the GametimeCT Comeback Player of the Year. Congratulations to Matt Bonner.
Good evening. My name is Scott Erickson. I am a sports writer here at GametimeCT, and it is my pleasure to present the Girls Sports Coach of the Year Award. While there are great coaches leading teams to CIAC and conference championships across the state, these 5 individuals stood out for their leadership this year. They took the form of a Cinderella, a coach returning to coach her alma mater, and first-time winners all the way to a program winning their 12th straight state championship. Here are the nominees for Coach of the Year in girls sports. Brandon Barone, Weston Swimming. Stephen Bell, Foreign Soccer. Megan Wax, Greenwich Basketball. Alyssa Leonetti, Brookfield Softball. Lindsay Carroll, Daniel Hand Lacrosse. And the award goes to Megan Wax, Greenwich Basketball. Megan led Greenwich to its first ever CIAC Girls Basketball Championship, winning the first title ever awarded in the newly formed Division I and the school's first FCIAC tournament title since 1988. Greenwich finished 25-2 and ranked #1 team in the final GametimeCT poll for the first time in school history. Congratulations, Megan.
Game Time names all state teams in 29 sports. It started with the New Haven Register All-State football team in 1932, just a few weeks after Babe Ruth called his shot in the World Series against the Chicago Cubs. Given that history, we take great care in selecting our teams, weighing player performance, input from coaches, and our own observations. It's an honor we bestow right after the state championships are played. Quite simply, the two go hand in hand. And parents, get those cameras in hand. We would like the state championship teams and Game Time All-State first team selections from the fall sports of football, soccer, cross country, field hockey, girls volleyball, girls swimming, and boys fall golf to please stand up to be recognized. Congratulations to our fall All-State first teamers and our fall state championship teams. We enjoyed writing about you immensely. Game Time also likes to profile athletes who shine off the field, who are driven to give back to their community or by a higher cause. We never seem to lack for those stories, and we like this one in particular. Here to present the 2026 GametimeCT Community Award is David Stewart.
We often hear the words chemistry, competitiveness, and teamwork when talking about high school athletics. One thing sometimes overlooked is friendship. The recipient of this year's GametimeCT Community Award is someone who refused to let friendship fade even when his best friend passed away. Ridgefield's Dylan Bean Crooker has been honoring his friend Logan Hale, who died after a nearly 2-year battle with leukemia in December 2021, 4 days after his 13th birthday. Dylan and Logan shared a love for football and video games, and Dylan and his mom purchased a portable Xbox for Logan as a way for him to stay in touch with friends and family while staying at the hospital. It was Logan's dream to help other kids, and that's exactly what Dylan has made come true.
The Logan Project seeks to give people who are unable to leave the hospital, who are struggling with illnesses in the hospital, a way to communicate with friends and family outside through gaming consoles and through just more of an access to the gaming consoles. Logan was a very active kid. From the moment I met him, he was always in at least 4 different sports all year round, never took a break. Very energetic, very caring. He made sure that anyone around him always felt good, felt happy in a way. Our biggest thing was I would say probably video games beat out football, but football was a very close second. but he had a form of bone cancer, leukemia. It definitely was horrible news. It really rocked my world. And once he had started going to treatments and not being in school as much or being available to play as much, I started to realize how serious it was. And then there was a day where he went to the hospital and just stayed. He didn't come back. The moment I knew that Logan wasn't really going to be coming back, I knew I had to try and memorialize him in some way, because he meant a lot to a lot of people in Ridgefield, and he meant the world to me. In the hospital, one time while we were playing, he let me know that they were kind of really limited on their access to like consoles and stuff like that. He had to wait on a line. There was a big queue for him to get into it. And then whenever we would play for a long time. So he always wanted more time to be able to play with me or to play with other people. So we provided him a little honestly could fit in your lap pretty well, where you would just put your console in it, and then it had a screen, and me and him would play on that all the time after that. And then it became a non-issue for us to work times out unless he had treatment or something. At some point, his brother had found notes in his phone of how him and his brother and him had been planning to sort of provide other kids in the hospitals or other people in the same situation with consoles so that they could connect with outside, with family and friends outside. Christian McCaffrey just picked it up. He heard about Logan's story, about how Logan had been buried in Christian McCaffrey's jersey, and he saw that such a big fan, Logan being such a big fan, he wanted to become a part of that. He wanted to help Logan with his dream. The Christian McCaffrey Foundation founded the Logan Project and helped us with ideas and different ways to bring that to people. His brother and his mom brought that to me. How that was even happening was amazing. And then because of our love for football, if I could bring the idea of football and Logan together, that would be the perfect way to do it. I tried to take it and start promoting it and started the Logan Memorial Games here at the high school in an effort to raise money for the Logan Project.
I could see where a lot of kids would have good intentions and not enough follow through to make it happen, but that's not Dylan though. So he's able to accomplish a lot every day. He's using every free minute of his day in organizational stuff.
It's extremely satisfying. It means more to me than anything else, more to me than my recruitment. Just taking his dream, his last wish, and making it something that was big enough to get the attention of the NFL itself. To be able to bring that sort of awareness at such a high level of the NFL, what Logan has dreamed about playing in, who he has so many heroes in, and just to be able to do all of that in just a few years was amazing. It was the most satisfying feeling I'd ever had. I can't even describe it. I was just accomplished. I just felt so great.
It is my honor to welcome Dylan, who is headed to Trinity College this fall, to the stage and congratulate him on winning the 2026 GametimeCT Community Award.
Well done, Dylan. Good luck at Trinity. We now move back to the field of play, and I'd like to call upon Claire Racine to present the award for our Best Girls Performance of the Year. Claire. You know, Claire, you have a very interesting baseball name, Claire was the first name of Babe Ruth's second wife, and Racine, as in Racine, Wisconsin, was home to the Racine Bells of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, so wonderfully chronicled in the movie
A League of Their Own.
On that vein, Miss Racine, please tell us, who is our Dottie Hanson of 25-26?
There are moments when it all comes together. The talent, the countless hours of preparation, the competitive spirit, and when it does, the results are performances that go beyond even your expectations. Performances you will always remember. From 50-point games to game-winning goals in overtime to dramatic walk-off home runs, these are the nominees for Performance of the Year for girls sports. Shea Gray, Derby girls basketball. Maddie Leduc, Wolcott girls basketball. Quinn Chandler and Anna Von Kennel, Darien girls lacrosse. Charlotte Pinto, Massac girls lacrosse. Jordan McHugh, Cheshire softball. And the winner goes to Jordan McHugh, Cheshire softball. On a 2-0 count with 1 out in the 8th inning of a tied game, McHugh homered deep over the left field fence to lead Cheshire to a dramatic 2-0 win in the SCC championship game.
Congratulations to Jordan and the Cheshire Lady Rams on their state championship. Coach Drust, my best to you and Donnie, favorites of mine. This year saw a number of coaching milestone victories. East Lyme softball coach Judy Deeb and Darien boys lacrosse coach Jeff Braymeyer both were the first in their respective sports in Connecticut to reach 700 victories. Mercy girls basketball coach Tim Coes won number 600. Stonington girls basketball coach Paula Solar won her 500th and then signed off with a Division IV state championship. Also winning his 500th, East Catholic boys basketball coach Luke Riley. At Haddam Killingworth, Jeff Talbot won his 400th at age 81. Salute, coach. And at St. Joseph, veteran head coach Joe Della Vecchia won number 200. Truly a year of milestones. Shall we not salute the New York Knicks for winning their first NBA championship in 53 years? Y'all can, I'm a Celtic fan. But here's somebody who definitely will. CT Insider senior data editor and columnist Philip Bump to present our boys Coach of the Year. And Mr. Bump requires a fist bump.
Good evening, everybody. Here to do Boys Coach of the Year. Coaches do so much more than just draw up plays and organize practices. They lead and inspire. They push, they lift up. And the special ones, they bring out the best versions of ourselves. These 5 coaches all led their teams to state titles. 2 repeated as champions, not an easy task. 1 returned glory to his alma mater on the gridiron, and another extended a championship legacy that now includes 13 titles. The 5th made his team believe they could do what most thought was impossible. So here are the nominees for Coach of the Year in a boys' sport. John Capodice, Berlin football. Billy Rich, Lyman Hall baseball. Tyrese Sullivan, West Haven basketball. Garfield White, Bloomfield track and field. And Kevin Marino, Joel Barlow, boys volleyball. And the winner of Boys Coach of the Year is Billy Rich, Lyman Hall baseball. Rich's Lyman Hall crew spent most of the season as the top-ranked team in the GametimeCT poll despite their challenging schedule. He took a group of athletes who excelled in multiple sports, including his twin sons, and built a baseball team, one that responded to its lone loss of the year with a dominant run through the Class L tournament en route to its 4th title.
T-shirts and all means of accessories that will look so wonderful on you. Where's my fashion plate, Leanne? Leanne Bianchini, head coach of the Shelton boys volleyball team, state champions, undefeated. Leanne, babe, am I ready for the runway? I'll never be. But you will, in your game time gear, which is available at our pop-up shop right around the corner. Go place an order on your way out. You all get a discount. Dress sharp, dress sharp. And I'd love to throw these caps out, but you know what? They're not gonna make it beyond the front row, but I'm gonna give it a try. Leanne and I have no future in the fashion industry. I'm going to stick with the game time. Now, before Billy Rich and the Lyman Hall baseball team capped their 2nd straight run to #1, our stars of winter kept spirits merry and bright through a long, cold, snowy season that seems miles away on a night such as this. But their performances remain vivid. Parents, get your cameras out. Shawnee Barker wants you to have your cameras out. We are here to present our state championship teams and Game Time All-State First Team selections in the winter sports of basketball, cheer, dance, gymnastics, ice hockey, indoor track, boys swimming, and wrestling. Please stand up. Congratulations to our state championship teams of winner. Is that the dance and cheer section out there? Yeah. Absolutely. Congratulations to our winter all-state first teams. The boys basketball all-state first team was selected by one of Game Time's most veteran sports writers, and definitely one of the most knowledgeable. Don't tell me about what Bo knows. Let me tell you about what Joe knows. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a warm welcome, if you would, for Game Time's Joe Morelli to present our Girls Comeback Player of the Year.
Injuries are part of the game. Athletes battle back to regain their form and return to action all the time. Some have longer periods of recovery than others. For tonight's recipients, that recovery lasted years. It was not easy for Ava Ryzik to sit and watch her teammates on the North Branford softball team win a pair of Shoreline Conference championships while she sat on the sidelines. What seemed like a simple play, a hook slide into third base while playing in the 8th grade, turned into 2.5 years of dealing with a serious hip injury. She had a torn labrum in her right hip. There would need to be 2 surgeries, the first for the repair and the second prior to her junior season to deal with scar tissue. Ava missed her freshman season. She also missed her entire sophomore season. It wasn't until the end of her junior season that Ava made her high school debut. But since that debut, North Branford won its 10th and 11th Shoreline Conference titles, appeared in 2 Class S state championship games, and won 1, where she was named the MVP. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the Comeback Player of the Year for girls sports, Ava Ryzik from North Branford High School.
Our next award is Championship Performance in a Boys Sport. Here to present it is my favorite North Dakotan and one with an impeccable taste in music, Group Managing Editor, Anjanette Delgado.
Under the bright lights and the highest pressure, these nominees delivered performances that defined their seasons and left an unforgettable mark. Tonight, we celebrate the athletes who rose to the occasion when it mattered most. From overtime wrestling matches and lacrosse goals to the first tech school to win a basketball championship since 1967, or a game-winning championship goal in the final 33 seconds to a 31-point performance. Here are the nominees for Best Championship Performance in Boys Sports. Braylon Gonzalez, Xavier Wrestling. Colin Colin Tozier, Stafford basketball. The Wyndham Tech basketball team. Von Coombs, Tallinn soccer. Harry Accorsi, Summers boys lacrosse. And the award goes to Braylon Gonzalez, Xavier Wrestling. Gonzalez won his third straight state open wrestling title, helping to lead Xavier to its fifth straight team title. Gonzalez won his championship match in overtime 3-1, winning with 7 seconds left in the third overtime. He is now the 17th three-time champion and did so on his 18th birthday.
Man, if only the weather was as predictable as Braylon Gonzalez. What a career. Speaking of the weather, I had like 5 intros written for our next presenter, but I realized that I wouldn't know which one I'd use till I get here. Would it be raining? Would it be hot? Would it be hot tomorrow? Would it be raining the day after tomorrow? Do I need to bring the plants in? Do I need to harvest the crops, feed the chickens? Sometimes you do need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. And we are fortunate to have the wind blow this gentleman our way, CT Insider meteorologist Dan Amarante, to shine a little extra light with our athletes of the week.
All right, so if you don't like the hot weather, apologies. If you do like the hot weather, you're welcome. All right, so during the school year, over a span of 40 weeks, Game Time runs an Athletes of the Week contest, choosing 5 boys and 5 girls for their performances, and then turning it over to readers to vote for their favorites. In choosing our Athletes of the Week, we like to draw from all quadrants of the state. Our aim is to have a boy and a girl nominee from every school by the end of the year. Now, we're happy to see over 100 schools represented here tonight, from Stonington to Chippewa, from Stafford to Greenwich, and we're happy to see athletes from every sport, including the state championship girls flag football teams from Manchester and Plainville.
Congratulations to all our Athlete of the Week winners. All 3 seasons, 41 weeks. Dan touched upon the 4 corners of our fair state, and we are delighted once again at the distances some of you have driven to get here. Danielle Wheeler wheeled down from Coventry. Fellow basketball players Reese Jamel and Haley Mayo. Basketball players Addison Cadmus and Margaret Fulton drove the lanes of I-95 all the way from Stonington. We roll out the welcome mats too. St. Bernard gymnast Genevieve Beauchesne and Caprice Ferrazza, La Bella Ragazza. I chose you two because you have the most impronounceable names. Welcome. Thank you for coming for St. Bernard. We dish a dime to Wolcott Tech basketball player Logan Driscoll. From New Canaan, Sienna DeCanter comes a cantering with the perfect name and stride for cross country. And from the heart of the valley, a shout out at heavy metal volume to Ansonia football player Jacob Romanowski. Hey, Big Red, stand up, bro. I spent a day last summer with Jake for our football preview, and I don't think we left a square acre of Ansonia uncovered. I tell you to stay real, Red, but I know you always will. Here's another name for you, Mike Barger. He's an assistant sports editor, and he does a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes. And he's here to present a new award, the Courage Award.
On January 7th, 2025, shortly after Holy Cross basketball's win over Kennedy at home, junior Tylon Lott was sitting in a classroom with teammates when the unthinkable happened. The 16-year-old collapsed. His heart had stopped. 3 heroes, nurses Megan Perrone and Lisa Wilson, and Waterbury firefighter Terry Inabanet, used CPR and an AED to revive Lott before he was rushed to the hospital. After being placed in a medically induced coma and transferred to Yale New Haven Hospital, Lott was diagnosed with an irregular heart rhythm. Doctors prescribed medication and implanted a defibrillator capable of automatically correcting dangerous arrhythmias. For most athletes, that would have marked the end of their playing career. For Ty Lott, it was the only beginning of a new challenge.
I went into cardiac arrest after a game, and it changed my whole life. I was walking to the locker room, and then in the locker room, I collapsed.
You know, the realest thing I've ever seen in my life, man. You know, we're in the locker room, dudes, you know, excited, happy, everyone's pumped, and then life changed quick, I guess, right?
I don't remember anything from that time at all. I don't even remember the game.
Played his best high school game so far, because he got a lot of minutes. After the game, I was excited for him, happy for him, looking for him playing more.
Initially, we thought, like, yo, Ty, get up, bro, you know? And then we seen, like, he kind of had, like, a little foam, and he was unresponsive. And my wife was an ICU nurse, and she was actually right outside of the room, so I screamed for her, and thank the good Lord, she was right outside of the room.
We went into the back room, and then Ty was on the ground, and they were doing CPR, and then his pulse got lighter and lighter, and they said they'll do this AED and use it. They used it. And by the time they used it, he came back, and they just kept doing CPR for the whole time. But I had to sneak away from what was going on and call his mother.
Telling me just to come to the school. I tried to ask what happened. He had already hung up. He said, just come to the school. I ran every light. I jumped on the highway. I didn't know if he was alive at that point. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know anything.
So she came in, she started crying, they took her out, and I just watched him do the CPR thing for until the ambulance came, and the firemen came, the EMTs came, they took care of him. They got him set up, they poked this thing in his arm for air, and then they hooked him up to the gurney, put him on the gurney, and then rode him down to Waterbury Hospital.
And then that's when I asked, is he alive? And they said they got him back, so.
Snap of a finger, I woke up. 1 second I was in one place, and then I just woke up there, and I don't remember anything else.
He woke up talking. He did think he was in Mexico, so he was kind of lost.
And it's pretty much, we learned more about cardiac arrest in that last 3 days than we knew in our whole life, so.
They're looking into cardiomyopathy. When they did all the testing, he has an enlarged muscle around his heart. So they're saying that may have what caused him to collapse, because the blood wasn't pumping fast enough to the heart because it was enlarged.
I had to relearn how to walk. I had to change my diet too. At first I was concerned because I didn't think I was going to play basketball again. One I followed specifically was Bronny, because the same thing happened to him, and he went back to playing basketball just like I did, so that encouraged me to go back as well.
You know, we discussed the surgery of putting in the defibrillator. That was a hard decision because he has to have it the rest of his life. But it was also like comforting knowing that if it happens again, he has this this device?
He wanted to play again, and slowly but surely he got his strength back. About 6 months later, he was almost to full strength. We got cleared by the doctors to do exercise again. We started walking first and doing like shoot around. So I worked him out first by himself with him and his brother. Slowly but surely, we started off with a half hour, then an hour. And then we eventually got back into like getting in the gym and lifting weights, and he's just about as strong as he was when he got sick now.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wasn't just gonna like give up and quit. I want to say like when the school basketball started again, we had our first scrimmage, and I was like, I was moving up where everyone, I was keeping up with everybody. That's when I knew like I was okay to play again.
So his story, unfortunately, is not one of sorrow. It's one of resilience and knocking down the world right now, man. His story is, and now he's running his program where he's checking athletes, and we've had programs where 200 kids, 300 kids have gone and got their heart tested, and we've had some kids who thank the good Lord have had a lot in their life right now in this experience.
Yeah, so the biggest thing was he did a thing to have everybody's heart get tested with Mike Papali to get everybody get heart tested. So we ended up having like 5 kids from Waterbury have heart issues, and 3 of them we knew. One of them was one of his classmates and his friend who had a heart issue, and he would have got surgery before, like in August, and he was able to play football again. So
the people that were there on the scene to save my life, I thank them every time I see them. I go and talk to them, I see how they're doing. I check on them to this day still. They just tell me I'm lucky to be alive, and it was no big deal. Like, they did it no problem. They loved to help me.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2026 GametimeCT Courage Award winner, Ty Lotz.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Roberts, and I am honored to present the Boys Sports Performance of the Year. There were some really good ones. We had 2 50-point games, including one that broke a school record, a school record 400-plus yard rushing game, 2 goals within less than a minute in a soccer tournament final, and then a walk-off hit in a baseball tournament final. Again, great efforts, worthy efforts. And the finalists for Performance of the Year in a boys sport are Sire Gillespie, Capital Prep Basketball. James Kirsten, Chappaq Valley Basketball. Jackson Favory, Ledyard Football. Brandon Fajardo, Notre Dame West Haven Soccer. And Keaton Kroll, St. Paul Baseball. And the award goes to Jackson Favory, Ledyard Football. Jackson ran 20 times for 401 yards, a school record, and 6 touchdowns in a 58-45 win over Woodstock Academy this past season. Congratulations, Jackson.
Hello again. Folks, tonight's keynote speaker, Anthony Latina, represents so much of what we're celebrating tonight. He was a standout high school basketball player at South Catholic High in Hartford as the 1980s became the 90s. He has spent the past 21 years on staff with the men's basketball program at Sacred Heart University, including the past 13 years as the team's head coach. And he's coached so many players from the CIAC schools, represented by those in attendance tonight. Latina has led the Pioneers through the challenges of a pandemic and a change in conferences. He's been a stabilizing force for a program constantly reinventing the way it operates for the way the world of college sports has changed around it. There are only about 360 NCAA Division I head coaching jobs in America, and Latina has occupied one of them since 2013. He has accomplished more than most who ever set out on a career in basketball. But the best thing I can say about Anthony is that I feel better about sports and its people every time I talk to him. He's all energy, optimism, positivity. Much of who Anthony is as a coach, husband, father, and friend is rooted in his days as a Connecticut high school athlete, playing alongside his best friends under legendary Coach Joe Riley. It's my pleasure to welcome Anthony Latina to the stage for tonight's keynote speech.
I was worried about the lighting up here. I'm one of those guys that needs to take out their phone and turn the flashlight when I'm at a restaurant to read the menu, but the lighting's pretty good, so I think I'll be okay. But thank you, Mike, for that kind introduction. First of all, what an incredible evening. I didn't know this even existed. This is, I guess, the second year. So to all the athletes being honored tonight, to your families, coaches, teammates, administrators, officials, and everyone who has helped make Connecticut high school sports so special, thank you for allowing me to be part of this celebration. When I received the invitation to speak tonight from Mike, I felt incredibly honored because this event is kind of like a full circle moment for me. See, 35 years ago, I was sitting in your shoes. I was a Connecticut high school student athlete who had the privilege of playing basketball at South Catholic High School in Hartford, and we were very fortunate to win a state championship in 1991. If this event existed back then, I would be sitting in the stands. Fast forward a couple decades, and if this event existed in 2021 or 2023, I would probably be sitting in the audience again, but this time as a parent. Our son Luke graduated from Wethersfield High in 2021 playing basketball at Wethersfield High and at Assumption University, and our daughter Zoe graduated from East Catholic in 2023 playing soccer and winning a state championship. So tonight, I kind of stand here with three different perspectives. One as a former student athlete, one as a parent of two Connecticut athletes, and one who has spent the last 31 years coaching college basketball, 27 of those years in this great state of Connecticut. I've also been blessed to have the opportunity to play in college, and I've been fortunate enough to be part of championship teams as a player and a coach, and I was lucky because I had a lot of good teammates. And after all those experiences and all those incredible opportunities, here's one thing that might surprise you. Playing for my high school team and winning a Connecticut high school state championship is still my fondest athletic memory, and it's not even close. See, and here's what I remember most about playing. I don't remember a lot of the scores. I don't remember my stats. I don't even remember half the things that people tell me about when I see them. But what I do remember is the locker room. I remember the bus rides home. I remember hugging my teammates after a state championship. I remember our community celebrating with us. That's what will last. That's why it's such a privilege for me to be up here, because I know exactly how special this moment is, because I lived it. Tonight I have 3 thoughts I want to share real quickly. 1 for the graduating seniors, 1 for those of you who are returning to high school, and 1, of course, for our parents. First, let's start with the graduating seniors. All of you are about to begin a new chapter. Some of you guys will play sports in college. Some of you will go to college as students. Some of you will enter the workforce, learn a trade, and some of you will even serve our country in the military. Every one of those paths is awesome and valuable. But if I could go back and talk to my high school self, one of the things I would definitely say is, make sure you take the lessons you learned as an athlete and bring them into everything you do. See, you already know how to work. You know what commitment looks like. You know how to be coached, you know how to be part of a team, and you know how to be part of something bigger than yourself. Those lessons will take you much farther than any trophy or any award. But there's one other lesson to you graduating seniors that I wish I knew and understood much more after my high school career, and that's this. Failure is something that you should not avoid. Failure is part of the process. The most successful people I coached were not the ones who never failed. They were the ones who responded the best when they failed. They learned, they adjusted, they grew, and they came back stronger. Don't spend the next chapter of your life trying to avoid failure. Challenge yourself, take risks, do hard things. Because always the most rewarding things come when you do difficult things. The people who accomplish the most in life are not fearless. That's a lie. They just simply learned that failure is a great teacher. So wherever life takes you, don't fear setbacks. Learn from them, grow from them, and keep moving forward. Now, my message to you returning high school student athletes, my message is simple. Be where your feet are. Those of you that are going into your senior year, you're gonna get a lot of questions now. What are you doing next year? Are you gonna play in college? What are you gonna do? What is this? What is that? What's next? But here's what I know now, and I don't know if I really appreciated it when I was in high school. This season of your life is incredibly unique and special. And once it's over, you can't go back. The next chapter is gonna be great. College is awesome, right? Your career is gonna be exciting. Having a family is one of the most rewarding things you're ever gonna do. Every stage of life has its own blessings, but none of them will be this one. This is unique. This is something, there's something special about representing your hometown and your community, putting on your high school uniform, playing with kids you grew up with in the neighborhood, competing in front of your classmates, your teachers, your neighbors, and your community. Don't rush to get to the next step. Cherish every practice, every bus ride, every locker room conversation, every game, every teammate, and every coach. Because one day you'll realize those moments were what mattered the most. As I said earlier, I've been blessed to be on great teams and experience championships at every level of basketball. Most of the time, I had nothing to do with that. I was just lucky that I had great coaches and great teammates. Yet I would trade every experience. I would not trade my experience as a high school student athlete for any of those. So those of you that are returning to high school, be where your feet are. Now finally to the parents. My wife and I were blessed to watch both of our children play high school sports in Connecticut. It was one of the great privileges of my life. We even had one child who was lucky enough to win a state championship. Watching that happen was an unforgettable experience. We were so happy for her teammates, for her coaches, for her school, for her community. But one of the most important lessons I've learned as a parent is this: make sure your children know the difference between being happy for them and being proud of them. They are not the same. Be happy when they succeed. Be happy when they score points and they score goals and hit home runs. But be proud of something deeper, parents. Be proud of their character. Be proud of their effort. Be proud of how they treat people. Be proud of how they respond when things don't go their way, because that's a true test of someone's character. Because as you parents know, life is full of adversity. Your children will experience failure. They're gonna lose games. Train's coming at the right time. They're gonna get cut from teams. They might not get the job they want. They might not get recruited by the school they want. They will definitely struggle at times, and that's okay. Let them struggle, let them fail, and then support them through it. But teach them how to respond. That's the key. And when they respond with resilience, with humility, with perseverance and integrity, tell them how proud you are, regardless of the outcome. Those are the lessons that will serve them for the rest of their lives and guide them through the adversity that's inevitably going to come. I want to congratulate every athlete and coach being recognized tonight. This has been an awesome, awesome night, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of it. But student athletes, never forget what made you successful was not just your talent, because there's a lot of talented people out there. It was your discipline, it was your teammates, your wonderful coaches who sacrifice, your families who stop everything for you, and your willingness to work and sacrifice. Those relationships and those qualities will continue to open doors and serve you well long after you're done playing sports. So I want to thank everyone who made this event possible. I want to thank thank you for celebrating high school sports the way it deserves to be celebrated. And thank you for giving me this privilege, because this is truly a privilege for sharing this evening with all of you. So congratulations to all tonight's honorees. Enjoy this moment. You've earned it. Congratulations.
Sacred Heart coach, Anthony Latina. Well done. Thank you, coach, for those inspiring and very, very true words. We have another story of inspiration that is going to put the needle right off the charts. But first, let us pay homage to our stars of spring, those of you who saw out the school year and took it over the top, sometimes literally so. Sean Arms of Daniel Hand, possessor of the most Dickensian of Connecticut sports names, broke the state record in the pole vault. Ethan Rowe of Bloomfield is a national high jump champion. Those gentlemen do not need those stairs to get up on this stage. And right now, they only need to rise as we honor our state team champions and all state first team selections from the spring sports of baseball, softball, lacrosse, track, tennis, golf, boys volleyball, and my personal favorite, girls flag football. Please stand up. State champs and all state first team selections. Hey, Shawnee, get Ayana Sheetza from Manchester down here to throw them shirts, brother. Woo! Parker's got an arm. Congratulations to our GametimeCT All-State First Team selections of the spring season and our state team champions. That flag football is here to stay, is it not? Is it not? Manchester and Plainville, our first state champions. I'd like to bring up now veteran sports writer Roger Cleveland to share what's got to be one of the best stories he's come across in his 40 years in the business. I love this story too. Roger Cleveland to present our Inspiration Award.
We all wake up each morning with the possibility of facing some kind of challenge, some more complicated and difficult than others. For Drew Fowler, since he was 4 years old, his challenge has been battling a rare form of brain cancer. Drew has a tumor wrapped around his optic nerve, causing blindness in his left eye and depth perception issues. Unfortunately, it's too dangerous to remove the tumor surgically. Although playing most sports have been tough or impossible for Drew, he wanted to be part of a team. So when he got to high school, he joined the lacrosse team and the indoor track team, or the cross-country team and indoor track team at Terryville High School. Let's take a closer look at Drew's journey.
My name is Drew Fowler. I was born and raised in Terryville, Connecticut. I'm 17 years old now, and I run cross country and track at Terryville High School. When I was 4 years old, I was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor called an optic glioma. I had to start chemotherapy when I was 4, and I've been on and off chemotherapy ever since then. Usually I'm only off for about 6 months before the MRI scans start to show growth. So then I have to hop right back on. When I was younger, I did youth soccer and youth basketball, but I never really liked it because my tumor causes blindness in parts of both my eyes. So I couldn't really tell how far the ball was from me. I have trouble with depth perception. I kind of took a break from sports up until I got into high school, and I discovered cross country. So I started running cross country, and I made all these new friends. And then about halfway through the season, I started a trial drug at Dana-Farber in Boston, and it took all of my energy out of me. My doctor said that it would be best if I took a break from running because I was exerting too much energy. I was really sad about leaving my team because I had just grown to really love the sport. But I told myself, you know, this is a setback, but I don't have to leave my team. I might not be able to run, but I don't have to quit. I didn't want to quit. So I became team manager. I came to every practice, every meet, and I was still able to support my team, which is what I really, really wanted. I was a little nervous to come back to running because I hadn't been doing it for so long. And then over the summer, my friend Emily was asking, hey, do you want to just go for a run on the track with me? And eventually we were running almost every day over the summer. And as cross-country season approached, I was like, all right, this wasn't even a thought in my mind at the beginning of the summer, but now I actually have a real chance. I've built up some confidence, I've built up some momentum, and then after the first day, I was like, this is awesome, but I don't think I can make it through, so I'm gonna quit next week. And then I made it to the next week, and I was like, okay, I made it this far, maybe I'll make it another month. And then somehow I ended up at the end of the season, and there I was.
His positive outlook and his good vibes were like, hey, why are we gonna be down if he's gonna be positive and we're gonna use him as our source of inspiration and lift us up. And you know, when he's down, we can lift him up. And that's kind of been the journey the whole way, but he's always been inspiring and pushing us forward.
I hope people are inspired by me. You gotta take a leap of faith. You gotta trust that the work you put in is enough, because it is. If you're trying your very best, I have no doubt that they could do amazing things.
Today, there's good news. Drew's tumor has shown no growth since he stopped treatments in 2024. He graduated this month as Terryville's valedictorian and will be going to Yale University in the fall. Drew couldn't be here today because he's taking part in a hole-in-the-wall gang exchange program over in Ireland, and his parents couldn't be here either. So as a Terryville High grad, I'm going to bring the award back to him, to Terryville. Congratulations to Drew for the Inspiration Award.
Thank you, Roger. We have reached the heart of the order. Our athletes, teams, and School of the Year. Before I bring out Sean Patrick Boley, Pete Paguaga, UConn Women's beat writer Maggie Vanoni, sports editor Shawnee Barker, and managing editor Dan Brecklin to present them, just a couple things to remind you. All your photos you've taken tonight, please share them on social media and tag us at GametimeCT. Our stories, videos, and photos will be on ctinsider.com/GametimeCT. And I've just been told, if you got like a free t-shirt tonight and it like doesn't fit, it's not your size, bring it over to the little merchandise shop over there and switch it out, get one that fits you, and order something else, because we got a lot of good stuff, as you saw from my headwear. I'd like to thank also the athletic directors and coaches for getting the word out on this event and for being here tonight. Your cooperation during the year is indispensable to us in telling the stories of your student athletes. Which among you will be the next to command the headlines? Like Coach Latina says, play hard, play with character, play with grace. All else follows. Thank you.
Our 5 finalists for Boys Athlete of the Year have all been state champions, most of them multiple times over. 2 have been Gatorade Connecticut Players of the Year, one of them in 2 consecutive years. 3 are seniors who will leave their name in school and state record books as they move on to compete collegiately in college. 2 are juniors who will be back to Thrillist for one more year before they too move on to major college programs. It's my great honor to present the finalists for the Boys Athlete of the Year. Abdu Tori, Notre Dame West Haven basketball. Anthony A.J. Robinson, Windsor football. Benjamin Pope, E.O. Smith Collins swimming. Jack Kroll, New Canaan football, hockey, and lacrosse. Roddy Ricketts, Fennell football and basketball. And the 2025-26 GametimeCT Boys Athlete of the Year is Jack Kroll, New Canaan High School.
greatest thing. Jack played linebacker on the Class L championship football team, defense on the Division I championship hockey team, and goalie in lacrosse, the sport he will play at Princeton.
Each of our 5 nominees for Girls Athlete of the Year has left their mark on Connecticut high school sports with state championships and jaw-dropping performances. They have excelled on the court, on the ice, on the turf, and on the diamond, and on tracks and wooded trails. One was nearly unhittable despite being legally blind. Others excelled in multiple sports. We have a pair of record-breaking 3-sport athletes and one who found the time to shine in 4 sports. Here are the nominees for Girls Athlete of the Year. Chase Gilbert, O-line, cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track. Adriana Golemski, Darien field hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse. Jenica Matos, Cheshire softball. Sarah Roberts, Mercy cross country, indoor track, ice hockey, and outdoor track. Maeve Staunton, Northwest Catholic soccer and basketball. And the winner is Adriana Golemski, Darien field hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse. Adriana not only played 3 sports, she helped her team win 3 state championships this school year, earning GametimeCT All-State First Team honors in all 3 sports while amassing a career of 101 games.
Good evening. My name is Sean Barker, and I am the proud editor of GametimeCT since its inception in 2013. Teams have a way of capturing the imagination of a community, pulling everyone together as their path to a championship draws closer and closer. Each win is an injection of pride and spirit. These teams did just that for their communities. One restored confidence in the capital city with a CIAC playoff berth in its first year as a co-op. Another kept its promise to the coach who, as a student athlete almost 4 decades ago, started to petition to bring their sport to their school. Another slayed Goliath on its 4th attempt en route to its first CIAC state title since 1987, while 2 ended droughts of more than 50 years, one dating back to 1972, the other to 1968. Here are your finalists for Team of the Year in a boys' sport. New Canaan Hockey. West Haven boys basketball. Hartford Weaver Co-op football. Bethel track and field. Shelton boys volleyball. And the award goes to West Haven boys basketball. Three times West Haven faced powerhouse Notre Dame West Haven before the start of the CIAC tournament. 3 times it lost by an average of 24 points. But when it mattered most, in the CIAC semifinals, the Westies snapped Notre Dame West Haven's 36-game win streak against Connecticut competition, then followed that a few nights later with an instant classic triple overtime win against Staples for its first title since 1987. West Haven boys basketball.
All right, we're winding down here tonight. We've got 2 more awards. But first, I just want to give a few quick shout outs. First, thank you to all the student athletes and especially their parents for showing up here tonight. Without all of you, this doesn't happen. You can clap, you can clap. Listen, I'm a parent. I've got 2 teenage boys. They play sports. I know the experience. I know driving all around the state, around the whole Northeast. Shout out to all of you for making it happen. We really do appreciate it. I also want to give a quick shout out to the GametimeCT staff, the Hearst, Connecticut staff, publisher Mike DeLuca, our advertising department, our sales department, our marketing, our circulation, everyone beyond. It's a true team effort in order to make this whole show work. Thank you, of course, to the people behind the scenes at the amphitheater, the production companies that make this all happen. Shout out to MC Bryant Carpenter. Give it up, come on. All right. All right. Let's go to the team of the year for girls sports. This year, we've got an undefeated girls lacrosse team that won its 2nd straight championship. We've got a volleyball team that only had 1 loss, clinched its first state title since 2011. There's a soccer team that had its first ever CIAC championship, a gymnastics program that won its 3rd straight championship, and there's a softball team that clinched back-to-back titles with a defeat of their neighboring rivals. Cheshire showed up, I hear that. Here are the nominees. East Lyme Volleyball. Greenwich Soccer. Trumbull Gymnastics. Darianne Lacrosse. In Cheshire softball. And the award goes to Darianne Lacrosse. Darianne finished its season a perfect 22-0, clinching its 14th CIAC title and 22nd overall. It's Darianne's third title in 4 years and second straight. Not only did they finish as the #1 team in the state, but the #1 team in the country. Congrats, Darianne.
All right, we are here. It is at the end, and we made it through the entire show. But before everyone gets out of here to sit in traffic on I-95, we have one more award to give out this season. The GametimeCT Cup is something I've wanted to do for some time. This year, we got it done. The award honors the athletic department that has had the best overall school year. But how do you define that? Is it the most state championships? The most all-state selections, how teams finish in the GametimeCT polls. We took all of this into account in building a formula to determine the top program. Here are the nominees. Good music. Bloomfield. Daniel Hand. Darianne. Greenwich. New Canaan. And the winner of the first GametimeCT Cup is the Greenwich Cardinals. The Cardinals won an absurd 14 state titles this past school year. Of those 14 titles, 11 of them came in different sports. Here to accept the award is Greenwich Athletic Director Pete Giorgio. And if you're from Greenwich High School, join him up on stage. Where's my hand? All right. Oop. Greenwich will hold on to the GametimeCT Cup for a year. They can display it where they see fit, and they will return it next year to be given out again. Congrats to all the winners tonight. If you haven't already, take photos in front of the GametimeCT backdrops, stop by the merch shop, and have a safe drive home. Good night. I love you all.